Buckaroo's the only danger, trying to get into the lead. Duke to Sessa, 100 to go from Buckaroo, a length and 3/4, but it's going to be Duke to Sessa, Harry Coffey. This is your moment.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot. I'm the Lone Ranger. Walt has been struck down with COVID. It's a Maldivian-esque type scratching given it's Cox Plate week. And we're only a week or so away from Melbourne Cup. So fingers crossed Big Red gets himself back on track. But super sub in DK, fresh from a holiday. How are you, brother, down in Melbourne?
I'm back. Good, Scoot. Yes, I'm back, and proper holiday too. No missus and no kids. Like, there's varying holidays. You go to Bali or something with the missus and kids. It ain't a holiday, you know. But as you know, Scoot, you're a kid's similar age to me. You're looking after the moments. But so I'm fresh, mate. I'm ready to go. Having said that, I do have an appointment tomorrow with the proctologist. So I'm about to start a fast and all that tonight, Nico, and all that. But that's the stuff our blokes my age you got to handle. So got to look after ourselves. How you go, Nico?
Better than you, apparently. Huge day yesterday at Geelong. So. Massive week. I think this is probably one of the bigger weeks in racing. You've got Breakfast with the Best and Geelong Cup Day, Friday night, Saturday. It doesn't stop. So looking forward to it, but in the grind for sure.
While we're talking about it, what was the big eye catcher apart from the Versestina tumble? What horse got round the valley best to your eye or any of the gallops, really?
Yeah, it was a bit of drama out there. I thought Broadsiding got around the valley very well, so I think he'll be suited getting around that track, and he did look to take some improvement from that Guineas run. So of all the horses there on Tuesday morning that look like they're going to the big races, there wasn't stacks of them there. But those horses that I've seen a fair few times, I thought he has taken some improvement from the Guineas, which he'll need to win, but he has improved.
Great theatre, and it's just one of the great mornings. So if you haven't done that, put it on your bucket list and check it out. And I'd definitely get a lot out of it and absolutely love it. There's just no closer place to be.
It's so close too, Scoot. You're right. And Nico, you're there. I used to not miss one. You know, it's just so close to the action there. It's where Moonee, Flemington, the one you're up in the grandstand, they're miles away. You know, so Moonee Valley's the one to go to if you go to one of those Breakfast of the Stars.
The Everest Lawn was a place to be, and it was a pretty big race, and it was a huge effort from Gigi Kick. I had the races on with my old man. I thought Gigi Kick had won, but Bella just poked her head out, and she sat 3 wide, did it all. So all honours to her, but maybe tempo killed the closers. What did you boys think?
Slow tempo race, wasn't it?
Yeah, like Bellany Vatena got into the right spot. I thought whether Williams did it on purpose or not, that he came back and sat off going Empire, probably thinking, this horse could get a bit lost in front again. So I thought if that was the case, which I think it may have been, that was quite smart to sort of tag him into the race. Sunshine in Paris was too far back. I Wish I Win pulled up lame. Jolie Star was the quickest home in the race, but she just had nowhere to go at the top of the straight, and probably a victim of the race shape. I thought Giga Kick was outstanding, and we've got a bit of a Giga Kick themed show today, DK, so the punters better wait for that one. But I thought Clayton did a great job with him just to get him peaking for the grand final day, and I think that's what we're learning with the Everest. The lead-up races don't mean all that much, and it's who's there best on grand final day, and I think those two horses had the right lead-in with a very quiet run the run prior.
I thought Racing New South Wales did a good job. There was obviously a clear directive on Thoroughbred Central 528 and a couple of the broadcast channels just to play the front lawn for the final 3 minutes, and the joint was absolutely rocking. So I think Racing Victoria might cotton on to that, and hopefully they can dial it up a bit and go toe-to-toe with them on some of the big days. But Caulfield Cup, outside the big race, I thought it was a bit of a lacklustre card. You really see the damage that Everest Day has done to that one. But the big story there, Harry Coffey, I guess he outrode Maggie Man. He had the horse do it, but put the horse in the race straight away and just had the horse absolutely trucking. So he just buggered off on him. So it was just textbook. It was a great front-running ride, and I absolutely loved it. DK?
Yeah, well, I never took my eyes off Buckaroo. I was on Buckaroo, and I'm a Buckaroo man. He was the victim of circumstances a bit. I was pretty comfortable. I know he probably got shuffled a pair too far back, but I was knowing how strong he'd finished in the Underwood and the Turnbull from similar positions, but he just couldn't build, which is, you've seen that plenty of times at Caulfield, trying to weave through traffic there at the 600. And then Duke de Session was off and gone, but Buckaroo was enormous. It's just a different horse since he's gelded.
Yeah, he was huge. You could probably argue that he was a moral beaten, really. Yeah, he flew home late, couldn't build his momentum, and then everyone sort of thought he was the map horse, and then they jumped out the barriers to slow out, and then he got crossed straight away, and all of a sudden he was in a bad spot. So didn't really go to plan there, but yeah, probably the right bet in the race in hindsight, and I probably got away with one taking him on because if it went his way, he would have won. But great to see Harry Coffey get a Group 1 win.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
And from like the narrative point of view, I think everyone's probably heard that enough. But from a punting point of view, like me and you, DK, we do form in Victoria meetings all the time. He is a great rider of stays in the provincials, isn't he? Like, how many winners does he ride in those staying maidens? He just rides them all the time.
Love it. Him and Jay Allen, they're the ones who dominate those. And Jay Allen was winning these big races a few years ago, and H Coffey is. It's great to see. Yeah, but on a maiden, 2,000 metre maiden at Mildura or something, just get jump on.
Yeah, Land Legend, I didn't think get around the track, and we sort of spoke about that offline, Nico, and just didn't handle the Caulfield circuit at all, but would definitely need to improve to sort of move on to a race like the Melbourne Cup. But Buckaroo, 3,200 metres, what do you boys think? Jury's slightly still out for me, but off what I saw and what you guys have just spoke about, you'd say he's going to switch off well enough, and he's got a big sprint in him.
Ridden same, which is the way to ride him in a cup. I think that's the place they came from last year, where he's going to be. And I said he's a different horse. Everyone, heard this thing. Oh, Nick Williams had a half an hour and 1 hour phone call with Joseph O'Brien about Buckaroo, and he told him, mate, he can't run past 2,000. He can't run past 2,000. But then he's a different horse, gelded. I'm telling you, this horse is a completely different horse. So I'm not saying he can't do anything. So he's the only one you can take out for the Melbourne Cup out of that race, isn't it? I mean,
and he's had great platform for it. The mile, 1,800, 2,000 Turnbull, fast run Caulfield Cup. Give him the 2.5 weeks between runs to get him cherry right for Melbourne Cup Day. Like, right trainer, right jockey. They nearly won it last year in the same silk, so they can probably go one better. Yeah, I'm not going to be taking him on too much. He looks the horse to take out of the race, and Duke DeSesse's not going to run in the Melbourne Cup.
No,
so
he was the other one.
He's probably the horse to take out of the race.
Yeah, I don't know if they regret that decision, but wow, story for another day. Well, a little bit of viewer feedback, and you cotton onto this one. Someone's sent a couple of screenshots in here and almost fell over when you shared this bit of information, DK. But you got one of the biggest betting races of the whole year, and the place percentage at the Big Blue Giant at Sportsbet sitting there at 421%, where most other operators are hovering around the sort of the 350s, 360s top. So, crikey, there's a fair bit of juice on the boards at Sportsbet. And just to clarify, there's the full Caulfield Cup field. So it's definitely the case. And I'm not sure if it was an IT error. I hope it is. But I guess they'll be under the microscope from here on in, because what did you think of that, DK? Pretty hot work, isn't it?
Well, I spotted it, and I nearly fell over. I couldn't believe it. On the big Group 1, the big field, they want to fill them up with bonus bets, fill them up with money back specials, and then go and rob them on prices on the Group 1 Caulfield Cup. It's just absolutely outrageous. We did say it. I told you, Sam Kennedy said something about it. Be careful of Sportsbet now. They're worst odds. They're not best odds. They're worst odds. I went and had a look at a few other races. They were 400% 405% on the Moonee. So it wasn't just that race. Went back the previous week in the Northwood Plume or something. The Herbert Power, they were 405%. The Northwood Plume on the same day, 402%. Like this is the new way with Sportsbet, trying to protect their profit margin, rob the recreational punters on the big races, on the big day scoot. Absolutely outrageous. So yes, I know, we're sponsored by TopSport and things like that, but TopSport were 360, 370. You can go look, Dynamic Odds or BetWatch or whatever people use. They are a fair price to place, but this is adding 30% the place margin in the big races on the big days. Absolutely outrageous in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a lot of juice on the board there. So, wow, and there's a bit of a pattern to it. So it looks like a bit of a set play from Sportsbet. So maybe pays to shop around or just bet where you can trust. We say it all the time, and it's TopSport. And the good thing is, Tristan, he just keeps rolling out the 110% markets. And I think he's got a little bit of a lead at the moment because he would have got the lot at the Geelong Cup day meeting yesterday with, what was it, one more time, the Import winning that one. But he bet 110%.
And the favourite, go on a miss, 100 metres into the race.
Yeah, thankfully he's going to be all right.
Yeah, he's I think he just did a tendon.
Did a tendon, yeah, thankfully.
Someone's killed him. It's probably me and my big futures Melbourne Cup ticket, so I'll put my hand up. It's me to blame. But TopSport, 110% markets, they're going to chime in again, 3 till 4 o'clock on Friday, so it makes life very simple. Friday night, they've got the Moonee Valley Gold Cup, and then Saturday, we've got the Cox Plate and the Tesio Stakes, so the last two races there, and they're going to do one up in Sydney, so that's race 7, and that's the Spring Champion. Going to be action-packed show, so we'll move along. Donny, Ellie Baby got scratched last week. He's best at Doomben this week. Bunker Bob was good for you at Launceston. For the faithful, Nico, 440, absolutely hammered in betting. So you got a couple more for us today, and then you're going to have a look at some Friday night best bets and some Cox Plate Day. As I said, Walt, he's crook, so we're going to have to super sub in there for the quick look at the Spring Champion. But head to racingwatch.com.au if you want more of his stuff. He will rise like Jesus himself, and he'll still get through the work despite not being able to come on the show. So make sure you check out Racing Watch. And then you'll have to put your G1 hat back on, DK, and you'll do a little bit of Mornington Friday. Zaitung, I thought, was sort of okay, but I couldn't follow her from last week, and looking onto sort of the 1,000 Guineas and those sort of races. Hopefully a couple of people saved or found Duke DeCessor off the email. I sent him out as my second best way, and as soon as sort of that weather forecast came through. So, if it was a wet track, I think he might have won by even further. TopSport Steam were a bit average. They got a couple of placings last week, and they've got a couple of big bets this week, so they'll be interesting to see. And best of the best, they're betting on all the group races in Vic and Queensland this week, and the group ones you can get on to win 10,000. So not only the 110% markets, TopSport is the place to be at the moment in spring, and they're Australian owned and operated. So make sure you support those guys. No funny buggers and no tricks with the place percentage there. Good value and good blokes. DK, markets, much to your disgust, aren't live for Mornington Friday, so it'll be fastest fingers first when everyone sees the show, and everyone will be trying to shoot the bookies down here. But race 4 in the Bryans and Services Plate, over 1,200 metres, you reckon you've found one, and I didn't know that you knew what the Racing New South Wales website was about, so this would have taken you a while to find this replay, but you think you found one in race 4 Friday?
Well, I don't know about finding it, Scoot. I think most people will find this, but this is Giga Kick's half-brother. This is Pantoja. So he's gone up there. He's obviously gone up there as a travelling companion with Giga Kick. He had a run down here at Bendigo, went for a spell, resumed up there, trialled all right, went to this race. He was pretty in the market. Nash has given him a good every hope in the run there. Got beaten by a couple who are just better than him, but nice horses. The thing getting over second, or Dipsy Doodle, was it Dipsy?
Oh, Diddle Dumpling.
Diddle Dumpling. Well, it's gone on to, it only got beaten a length and a half in the Group 3, Reginald Allen on the weekend. So, I mean, that's pretty strong form. The second horse was heavily backed, even though it got beat. J Mac beat it on something, but it was heavily backed next time out. So this is comes back down to Victoria, that's a 60k Rosehill midweek maiden.
Home track.
Much fitter for that, comes to its home track, comes to back to a pretty moderate maiden, but most importantly for me, so this horse raced a bit keen. It still does a little bit wrong. Yeah, raced a bit keen there on Nash, punched it out of the gates. Now, on the horses who are a bit keen, there's one jockey I love going on, and it is J Mott. Now, he used to read his ridden winners for me. He has the most softest hands, and on these horses, especially from a low draw, he'll jump it, he'll get it to travel, he'll suck up, and he'll get it to ping. He's the key here for me. I'm happy to take short odds this horse because J Mott's on it. Barrier 1. So he'll just travel up. As he sees daylight, he'll suck it up and he'll get it. Others in the race, Hustle. We might get a little bit of a price because Hustle ran third on debut in a strong Moonee Valley maiden, but behind Brand Jam and Taken or something, which ran behind Get a Fix on the weekend. So that form's all right, but it did rail all the way from box seat itself there, and now it draws barrier 9, where Pantoja's going to have the run it sort of had. So I think it might have overachieved there a bit. Barrier 9 here. Couple of trials. It trialled all right, but nothing sensational. Sosma for the Hazes. As a local there, Jager Schnitzel or something, and Fonk had one there, which they're a shout. They used to train it in the day. Their first starters were deadly back in the day. The Hawks. You saw them down there. Yeah, you just can't find them. So it didn't show it up at the trials, but I'm tipping it'll need the run. So no, I thought Pantoja somewhere around black figures. Hopefully, Scoot. I'd be happy with that, and I think people can anchor it up for the start of the weekend.
Beautiful stuff. So that's Friday Mornington race 4, number 4, Pantoja. And a little bit of a thank you from me, DK, and it's a bit remiss of me not to send you a note because you would have been poolside at the casino. J Mott, Russian Meteor, Billy Pap's horse. Yeah, anyone that's cotton on the show may have fallen into this horse. 440 was not a bad price last week in the midweeks at the Caulfield.
Certainly was. It is it's a funny horse, that horse. It is completely MAD. That horse, it's got all the talent, but it's completely mad. I remember when it won its maiden, it was the biggest win you've ever seen when it won its maiden.
Yeah.
It was out the back, played up pre-race, rounded them up down the outside. So it's got a stack of talent, but it's slightly raced because it's just got terrible manners when it gets to the races. But it wasn't that a good watch when J-Mop put it where he did in the run there? Gee whiz.
Oh.
So the pants are off there at the 400. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I might add mine off too. Friday, but yeah, and I think a couple of viewers of the show might have chimed into it as well because you have tipped it up on the show and it's always shown a little bit of Villy. So big thanks to DK with that one. If you've got the faith, just keep believing. Friday, Moonee Valley is a beauty. They've messed with the program a little bit, but it's still an okay card, I would have thought. Let's have a look at race 3, one of Nico's best bets here, and it's the MSC Signs Handicap over 1,600 metres. Odds courtesy of TopSport. Verdad, who also ran second on that midweek Wednesday card. It's got 62 kilos here, $2.70. Heavenly Eagle, $6. Wyberee, $6.50. Mornington Pierce, $7. Gin O'Clock, $8. Far Flung, $12. C7, $14. Conqueror, $14. Piaggio is 26 and better. The rest, couple of our old sparring partners here, especially a couple of horses that Nico and DK have tipped on the show prior, but the weight swing here for Heavenly Eagle, who's in the blue and white, the Stephen Brown colours. Nico, talk us through this replay.
Yeah, well, this just set the tone for Caulfield Cup week. First race we bet into, and it was an absolute car crash. Had no luck. Thought he paraded outstanding in the yard. I hadn't seen this horse for a while, but he's really improved and flies home. I know he gets along the inside here, which was the place to be, but he was off the fence for the majority of the run. And yeah, if he had any luck, he would have been right in the finish. So when I looked at the race, I thought, well, how do I get Verdad beat? And here's my black booker who I wanted to bet on next start anyway. So sort of worked out well. Goes E Brown to B Shin, which is a positive. Drops in the weight, gets 55.5 kilos. Verdad's got 62 kilos, and this horse is just airborne. He was just a really big winner at Seymour, winning a strong race, and then last start he should have been right in the finish. Verdad has stronger form, but he's not winning, and he's had every possible chance in his last two wins. So I think there is a little bit of meow in him at $2.70, and I think the big weight too definitely favours Heavenly Eagle. You're going to need a fair track, but the way the Valley's been playing recently, it hasn't been impossible to get back and run on. And I think Blake Shin riding this horse, there is a chance he could put him in the run a bit more and probably settle him close to the speed. He has had 2 runs at Moonee Valley prior, and he did run second on both occasions. He didn't get around the bend great in those runs, but he's a much better horse now. I think he's improved a lot since then. He won at Yarra Valley pretty comfortably. That's a tight turning track. So I'm just going to put it down to he's a better horse now, and he has had some experience there. And he was only beaten at length in both of them. So I think he's improved enough to handle the circuit. And around 550, I think he'll probably start shorter. There's a little map issues, but right man for the job, and hopefully can kick off the weekend with a winner.
Yeah, outstanding. And that's as confident as I hear Nico speak. Sorry, DK.
I had the same train of thought. Well, same train of thought when I saw Nico did that race. I saw Verdad there, and like seriously, I know Poison Chalice goes good and rounded him up, but he struggled to put away Freak of Nature, and that Prize of Elena was coming at him late. Like he wasn't exactly finding the line. And this horse, I remember Stephen Brown Senior saying about a month or 6 weeks ago, this horse is. I remember on the radio or something. They said this horse is flying.
Yeah, he bumped into Fedra that day at Sandown, and then he's sort of gone on with it since.
And then so he's out, and then no disrespect to his young fella Stephen Brown, but he's gone. S Brown was steering him home, winning on those. Then he's had the bye there with E Brown from never got out, and now he gets B Shin. So this horse could really take off, and just way to attack that race, try and find something to beat Verdad at 6-7 or 4, whatever it is.
Yeah, outstanding, 550. So Heavenly Eagle in race 3 on Friday is the way Nico's going to play it, with a massive level of confidence. Don't really hear Nico speak like that often, but sounds like he's horned up deluxe. Race 7 at Moonee Valley that night is the Gold Cup, and there's a few here that are in the race for the Melbourne Cup, and there's a couple here that need to pass a ballot and need to run top 3. Odds courtesy of TopSport is $3.70. Francesco Guardi just fine for $80. Positivity $6.50. Serpentine $7.50. St George $8. Manzoice $11. Akita Sushi $12. Braden Star $14. Hurricane $15. And Sharp and Smart's the outside of the field at $21. Really like the setup here for Francesco Guardi. I'm going to steer this race, and you can see him in the line, and this is in the Turnbull, and I think this form has been well and truly franked. It's I'm no genius for sort of finding this horse, but the reason I like Francesco Guardi here is I think he just needed that one to top him off, and I think he's just been sort of run behind the top-level horses from a fitness perspective the whole time. He went around the valley maybe 2 years ago when he was in scintillating form, and he won with absolute authority, and that was off the back of a really luckless 2,000-metre run, maybe in the Turnbull a couple of years ago when he was checked and nearly got knocked over and still got out and absolutely smashed the line. So I think this horse is going to absolutely eat up 2,500, and if he can sneak his way into the field, I actually think this horse can run 3,200. He absolutely loves Flemington, and I've even got him as a bit of a knockout or sort of a top 3 chance for the Melbourne Cup. I absolutely like the horse, and I was really keen to back the horse in the Caulfield Cup as the weather forecast started to deteriorate, because he's an absolute wet tracker. He grows a leg there, but he's adept on both. He likes it dry or soft. And I started to nibble the 90s. I started to get pretty excited in a group chat with Nico and said, I'm gonna back this horse to win the Caulfield Cup. But Deny Knowledge paid up, and my tickets all got refunded on the Saturday morning. So I was thinking this horse was going to be in the finish of the Caulfield Cup. So I'm licking my lips here with Just Fine, up on speed Serpentine, up on speed Akita Sushi. There's going to be a little bit of traffic because a few of these might fall in his lap, but James McDonald could just smoke the pipe here from barrier 9, and I give a little bit of an outside chance to Braden Starr, who was a bit of a sick beat for Little Birdie Syndicate subscribers. I just thought they missed the boat there in the Herbert Power or whatever that race was, but he's a pretty good horse as well. But I'm not sure how Nico you saw this race, but clear on top, Francesco Guardi for me.
Yeah, he has to. I don't know how he's not qualified, but it's because I think maybe because he won the Moonee Valley Cup 2 years ago, it doesn't count anymore. So he has to qualify for the Melbourne Cup. So he has to pass the ballot. So I think he has to run top 3 to pass the ballot to get into the Cup. So that's probably the good thing if you want to back him, because there's going to be a lot of intent here. Like obviously they tried to get him in the Caulfield Cup, didn't work. So he's going to have to, be going really well to even get into the Cup, which seems like the main aim. I think if he had gone into the Cup 2 years ago off that Moonee Valley Cup win, he would have been second or third pick off the rating and the performance that day. So the ability is definitely there. You get J-Mac, and I sort of found out the hard way, DK yesterday, backing 2 horses that are already in the Melbourne Cup, in the Geelong Cup, and they just sort of went around. So you got to have the right intent in these races.
Yeah, no, he's sets up off me. I love patterns, he ran in the Turnbull, and he won this race for 2 years ago. Then he ran similar in the Turnbull, went in the Caulfield Cup last year. Then he's at the break. He just prepped for these 3 or 4 runs every year to get him into the big one. And so he's sound in the Turnbull again, ends up here instead of the Caulfield Cup. So, and the speed of the race, it sets up that Just Fine and Serpentine up the front. There'll be no loafing here, and I think that plays into his hands, Scoot. But I will say, I'm with you on Braden Starr. I gave Braden Starr a hope in the Herbert Power, and he just didn't sort of get his chance there, so still ran well. So I think he's going well, that horse, Braden Starr.
Yeah, he's super tough. I said to Nico and Trav a couple of days ago when they were sort of thinking about speccing him for the Melbourne Cup, and I could remember when he ran second in the Bendigo Cup, and then I think they went into that like a foundation race or one of those special condition races after that Bendigo race. Back at Caulfield, where Chlamydia Moore won that race, and I just couldn't believe they'd backed the horse up after such a tough effort and such a tough campaign. And I've always had it written in my black book that he's just all heart, this Braden Starr. So yeah, I'm not sure if he's got the pedigree to run 3,200 metres, but gee, I like him, and wow, he'd be some horse in the right sort of yard. I think he's a complete freak show.
What's that horse again of Gemma Riley's, Scoot?
What's it called?
What is it called?
Chlamydia or something.
Chlamydia.
Yeah. What's it called?
Claymore. Chlamydia.
Oh,
You're having a big day. You're flying.
I don't know what it's called. It's very hard to pronounce. Nico, are you going to do the double Friday, Saturday with your yard tips? Because obviously you were on fire yesterday. You found that too good. You weren't alone, but sent out a 3-unit press on that one. Gee, it went well.
Yeah, she's a nice mare. I think she'll measure up. She'll probably go to that country series final now and be the horse to beat at a mile. So yeah, I was really taken by her in the yard. It was It's a tough scenario for a few of the horses yesterday. They had the big marquee next to the yard, and there was just music pumping those last few races.
Mellon said Barber like played up, but it might have fired him up. You know.
So yeah, it was. She was a bit on edge, but I thought it's just because of how she was sort of handling that, and I thought. I'm pretty sure it was the trainer strapping her, Kevin Daffy, and he was just sort of reassuring her, and you could tell that she'd spent a lot of time with him and he'd spent a lot of time with her, because every time he did, she just sort of calmed down. So it was a real sign of horsemanship there with Kev. So good luck to him in the big one. But yeah, we'll be all guns blazing both meetings at Moonee Valley. So hopefully a result.
It was a good watch when Frosty sort of didn't go for it at the 300. Said, I got more here. I can just cruise for another 50 before I go for it.
It was a very easy watch.
It was.
And needed after the last few weeks.
Outstanding. So great time to join Nico's Twitter and go to at Nico's Yard on Twitter, and you'll find all the information there. So he's going to be working pretty hard Friday, Saturday, and then you just steam into Cup Week. So great value time to buy it. Let's have a look at Saturday, Cox Plate Day, and you're going to steam into race 2 here as one of your best bets. Ikasara is $3 favourite at TopSport. Bazusto is $3.40. Pisces $4.20. Winner's Edge $6. Bitter Creek $9.50. And then got Brand Jam $13. Wolfgang $17. The repo we're going to have a look at is the Mackenzie Stakes here, and you like Bazusto.
Yeah, well, this is track and trip, so apples to apples. He gets a good run here. There's a few horses in behind him that are unlucky, so I think that had some impact on the race, but it's still a very credible run. And I think he's come back a better horse this campaign. Looking at him in the mounting yard, I sort of found him second up and was really impressed with him on this day. So I think he's really matured. Angel Capital was a big win, and then he won the Guineas Prelude. Bazusto was sort of on their heels in the Guineas Prelude and had to go back to the inside. But I think if he replicates a similar performance on Saturday to what we saw here, where he can get himself in the first 3 or 4 stalking run, take over on the bend, he's probably got to run down Gay's horse, Isakara, is it? Who does bring in some good form around Switzerland and Coleman. But I just thought him having the run at Moonee Valley, now third up, he had a jump out in between runs since the Guineas Prelude and went really well at Pakenham. So stables absolutely flying. Like they couldn't be going better, the stables. So B Shin, similar to that sort of race where they can just lob in the first 3 or 4, and I thought he was the one to beat.
And he's your man. As we seen yesterday, like I'm not big on, I like things going up in trip, minimum staying at the trip. Not big on things coming back in trip, these lightly raced horses. But if there's one jockey you want on your side, as we saw yesterday with Romney, Dip, Durham, it's B Shin. You know, he just if he's coming back in trip, he's the man you want. He got the very good handle.
Well, he rides him tough, doesn't he? He rode that horse tough. He sat outside he was pretty much leading the race on the outside of the horse on his inside, and that's how he rides him. He knows that he got enough fitness underneath him to keep going. He rode it tough, and he'd probably do the same here. Probably ride this horse tough, knowing that he can get a little bit further. He doesn't sort of ride him too cute, does he? Just gets him up there and loves winning. B-Shin, G loves winning.
Loves it. And you seen any highlights of Bazusto, Peter Bazusto, mate, who it's named after, one of the great blues in your camp? You see, mate, he was a superstar, Peter Bazusto.
No, I haven't.
Absolute superstar. And as again, this Rosemont cult syndicate that they name all the horses are one word after, Buse, Barassi, Goods. They're doing about 20 million at the moment, I reckon. They've had all they've had is goats. They're doing their ass. But maybe Bazusto might be one who can buck the trend.
Oh, good thing about B Shin is he's got plan A and plan B, and Striker was a good example of that. I think they said they're going to ride it quiet, so he went straight to the front, and that horse is going places as well. So B Shin, absolutely white hot, and Walt's all over him as well everywhere he goes. Let's have a look at the big one. It's race 9, the Cox Plate, and the market is fascinating here, and they just do it every year, but this is absolutely premium. I don't care that there's 9 runners. I think this is one of the best Cox Plates ever assembled. I just think from a betting perspective, it is just mouth-watering. There's so many angles, and it's going to be a hell of a race. It'll just be fever pitch, and this shapes as an absolute epic. Prognosis is the favourite here, $3.50. Via Sustina $4.40. Pride of Jenny $4.80. Broadsiding $5.50. Mr. Brightside $8.50. Docklands $20. Kovalika $21. Evaporate $21, and then you got Royal Patronage $26. Let's have a look at a couple of replays here. In the first one, we've got Prognosis, so I'm going to sort of go in market order here, but you can see him in the yellow and black circling the field here, but what you missed is he bombed the start by 3 lengths, and this was in the QE2 Cup, and this is back in April. You just see Romantic Warrior here just come off his back and just get him, but His run just sort of came to an end and sort of peaked, but he did have the temerity, to steal a word that you love, DK, to sort of just keep boxing on. So the high pressure, high tempo Cox Plate is going to suit this horse. I thought he went around the Valley really well. Obviously, he wasn't there at Breakfast with the Stars, but the couple of snippets that I've seen, he's gone around absolutely super here. Via Sistina, I think everyone in Australia has now seen how many laps that she's done at Moonee Valley, and really quite lucky that no one was killed or injured there. There's been some press and some stories that I've seen in Walt's chat room of people up in Queensland where when horses throw the bandages, some real tragic accidents have occurred and people may have done jail time over it, which is remarkable. But I love the way Via Sistina fought back there and really held off Buckaroo. So it's that form's well and truly franked in the Caulfield Cup. So she got through the line much, much better than Buckaroo. So that's writing on the wall there. If she can get through doing those 5 laps of the course, she's going to be in the finish. But prior to Jenny, I thought this replay was a bit more relevant because I guess the King Charles is pretty much in everyone's memory bank from last week. But I think she was a little bit better than I thought initially here, and you see Antino sort of come out and frank that form. But she does get around the Valley as good as anything. And then here's broadsiding. He just got put to sleep early from J-Mac. There was little intent, but I guess the big question, maybe for you, Nico, do you think this horse has got any capacity to take a position, or are they just going to ride it out the back and make a run mid-race?
Well, he just begins slow. Like he was a victim of himself there. Like he was slowly away. So if there's like B Shin, if there's one rider that is good at getting out of the barriers, it is Jay Carr. Like that is something she is very good at. 49.5 kilos. I sort of had the map. Jenny, Royal Patronage, Brightside Fence, Evaporate, probably one out, one back, and then him maybe on the back of Evaporate or trying to cross Evaporate either way. So yeah, the 3-year-olds have a terrific record with the lightweight going forward in these races.
That's right.
James Cummings, he was there for So You Think. He's done it with Animo. He knows how to get a horse ready for this race. So and a lot of those times they put them on the speed too. So I'd be assuming he's at least midfield, even if he does jump pool. He's drawn wide enough to come across too. Well,
part of the advantage of the lightweight is to use it.
Yeah, you got to use
it.
It's no good being last.
Yeah, so it was spot on. So yeah, no, it won't be too far away. I wouldn't have thought.
With that prognosis replay, they actually have data for that on Punting Form because they do all the Hong Kong races, and on their database went 16.5 lengths above to the 600. So he settled last early, missed the kick, settled last, and then had this massive working run, 3 wide the trip, and they've gone 16.5 lengths above, and Romantic Warriors just got over the top of him late. Like, it was a massive run. The jockey change there is going to be huge. He's had some poor rides over his career prognosis. So I think Damien Lane getting aboard's a big thing for him. And watching all these replays, I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually better on his Melbourne leg than going around the Sydney way, going like we saw there in Hong Kong. I think his best victories have been the Melbourne way of going in Japan. So he's the biggest question mark X factor around the race. If he gets out of the barriers and puts himself 2 pairs back, 1 off, like he'll probably win. If he doesn't get out of the barriers and he's settling last, he probably can't win. So if you nail him, you'll probably nail the race.
It's interesting. 11 months ago, on the Hong Kong International Day, when Romantic Warrior beat him the first time, he was actually held up significantly the whole way up the straight, and you could probably argue he should have won that day as well. So
definitely
easy to tie in. And the other X factor is Damien Lane. There's a few riders ride the Moonee Valley better than Damien Lane either.
It's a great race. Look, I'm cured forever of the imports who land here after Vauban, forever and ever. All right, and even in last year's Cox Plate, I was around Romantic Warrior. I tipped Fangirl and Mr. B, and Mr. B missed by a pimple, and Fangirl never got a crack at it. So I'm still happy to be with the locals here. This is a vintage group of locals, and he's got that query. I've been working with Julian Welsh, trying to get his barrier manners right, all this business. So yeah, no, I'm with the look. I'm going to say Chris Waller's going to not run that mare unless she's 100%. And I'm with the Buckaroo. The Buckaroo form's the best form going around here at the moment. Buckaroo's airborne. She was amazing to kick back and beat him.
Yeah, it's a tough win. Definitely kick back.
So it's only that little blemish on Tuesday morning. Well, not little blemish, but anyway. But you're back in the grouse train at the Hills. He's just going he's got his own physiotherapist going over who was on the radio this morning, the Wallop physiotherapist scoot. So he's saying she's 100% and all this. So I'll back the good camp in there. So a little bit concerned about Pride of Jenny backing up. I know that wasn't the camp. It was Tony's plan to do that. Wasn't Mars' plan. He wanted to go 2 weeks into the Cox Plate as the big one, but Tony wanted to run in the King Charles, travel, come down, back up. She's great. And the 3-year-old, look, the 3-year-old I'd normally warm to, but this is such a good group of other horses that he's going to really have to elevate. And I don't know if he can beat them. He can run well, but so I'm with the best local form scoop, which I think is Fair Sistina.
Yeah, I was similar. I wanted to warm to broadsiding. I think, like, you look through his sectionals, like, he's run the fastest last 200 nearly every race he's been in, especially since he's been winning in the proper races. Like, he just seems like he'll run 2,000. He was second up in the Guineas. Like, the whole preparation seems like it's probably geared more towards the Cox Plate, and the Guineas may have been a bonus. He just wasn't good enough to get it done. But there was a few things against him on that day. I just couldn't back him at $6. The way I sort of looked at it, I was like, DK, if she's come through that spin around at the Valley fine and she's there via Sistina, well, you gotta probably back in that they've got her at 110%, and that's all you can do, I suppose. So yeah, in terms of a type, she's one of the best mares I've seen in terms of type.
Right.
She's an absolute beast, like, just so strong through her shoulder and her hind quarter. She looked great there at Breakfast with the Best on Tuesday morning, and who knows? She carries that much condition. It might have done her good having a good spin around like that. She
Topped her off.
She was, a few weeks between runs since the Turnbull. So great race. The yard will be super critical and crucial here with prognosis and how Jenny backs up, how's Via Sistina. So probably waiting to then to have a real massive opinion. But if I had to sort of bet right now, I probably would back a Via Sistina.
Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know what to make of the Tuesday thing, so I think I'm just going to pretend it didn't happen. I think the Turnbull run was absolutely spot on for Via Sistina, so no knock you guys finding it. And I think the winner comes from the top 4 in the market, so it'll either be Prognosis, Via Sistina, Pride of Jenny, or Broadsiding. I'm thinking that Pride of Jenny's still got a lot more in the tank. I was actually... I thought the first up run, I've done about 5 laps of this race, but the first up run was her barrier trial, and then I've sort of marked her down as a win in the King Charles, and I was just in shock that she was just still there on the line. I thought she was absolutely gone, and she's nearly bloody won the race, and it's taken, I think, which is a freak show, is this Cho Wolf. I thought he'd be the horse to beat in this race for a while, but I think they might just, the jockey error might come into this, and I think Declan might be just off and gone on Pride of Jenny, and I think she's the value bet in the race. It's sort of $5 or $5.50. I think she's going to back up. I'm not sure what's happening in the Kieran Ma, the hyperbaric chamber, but if she's spent a couple of days in that and just recovered, I think that could be a little bit of an edge, and I think Declan can steer her home. And if the fence is on and he gets it right, I don't really want to be losing on her. And I guess the horse that I'm probably most scared about is Broadsiding, because he just had a barrier trial in the Caulfield Guineas. You can completely forgive that one. And I was surprised, given how cold and dead that they rode him. He got that close, but very frightened of the Japanese at your tip. But auto bet time for me, and I think Pride of Jenny's the way I'm going to go. But can't say I'm confident, but I think it's a massive, massive price for a horse that perhaps is going to get a bit of a lone lead. I would have thought, and I just think they're all just going to sit there, and who's going to attack her first? And I can see the jockeys just absolutely making a meal of this, and Declan just going the whole way unchallenged. So who's going to blink first? And
I think that's what makes it such a great race too. Like, you got the quality is amazing, and then you've got the whole scenario of how do you beat Jenny? Is she going to back up? Via Sistina, all the drama around the stories. But in terms of race shape, like, if the jockeys ride similar to, say, in a Queen Elizabeth or a few of those races where they just haven't got it right trying to beat her, well, she probably does stick on and win. But if they get up there and maybe Royal Patronage and Evaporate roll the dice and say we're going to really attack her from the 1200, well, then it's a completely different scenario than she's ever seen. There's a million different ways this race could unfold.
And that's how the scary part. I thought Royal Patronage, I think he's going to be in hard reverse, and if he carts him up, he's going to be traffic. And then if Blake gets itchy fingers or it bounces too well with Docklands and he's up front, I think Docklands and Royal Patronage could be traffic and knock a few challenges out of the race, and she could just have the saloon passage. But I'll tell you what, there's going to be just so many angles. We've come up with different horses here, and
like we haven't even mentioned Mr. Brightside. He nearly won the race
last year, and he's like, and he's got barrier 2. He's going to have a similar inside run, just hug the rail the whole way. He's had the hard 2,000 metre run under his belt. That's right. So great race. As I say every year, it's always a great race. Don't worry about your Everett's and all this. This is the great race. This is it.
Late betting's going to be absolutely fascinating. Not sure what the big boys are going to do, and you've got that international flavour as well with prognosis in it. So, wow, it's a bookie's wet dream. And at 3 o'clock on Friday, Tristan's going to bet 110%. So you'll get a sneak peek of what the big boys in the Aussie markets want to do. So make sure you set your clock for 3 o'clock on Friday. Race 10 looks like a bit of an easier challenge at the Valley. And it's the Tesio Stakes, also 110% market on Friday at TopSport. Firestorm is the favourite here at 310. Private Legacy 550, Little Mix 650, Lady Jones 650, Molly Bloom at 950, Wishful Lass 11, Vibrant Sun $12, One Dream One Soul $19, Baslina 21, and 21 or better the rest there. The flashing light run here, I thought, was Private Legacy in the the Catnax Vase behind Grinzinger Bell here, and she's just out the back and last. She's got barrier 1 this time, so she's going to get a great spot, and I think the Valley will really suit her. I just love the way she might have found a bit of a lane here, but wow, she just absolutely zooms late, and I actually backed her at 50-1 first up over 1,400 metres at Rose Hill behind Willadale, and I thought she'd run a race there, but she probably just needed that pipe opener. And then I thought that was really a bonus run for her because I've sort of got her marked down as a pretty dangerous 2,000 metre horse. But 550, happy to play there. And Firestorm, I just thought she was a bit of a false favourite here. She's had a bit of a yo-yo prep. She had the benchmark 88 run over 1,900 around Unusual Legacy, which is great form, and then dropped back to the Epsom 1,600 metres. Now has to get on the float, come all the way down to Melbourne, and now she's back up to 2040. So she's definitely a talent, but I really couldn't see much value in her at 310, where I've got a horse like Private Legacy with his big finish at $5.50. It's a tricky little race because you got horses like Molly Bloom and Wishful Lass have got good talent. Vibrant Sun's a bit of a talent as well. Basilina is a bit of a knockout too. So she's no moral, but at $5.50, I thought she should have been favourite, and I was willing to risk Firestorm heavily there at $3.10. I thought the odds are the wrong way around with these two favourites. But Nico, you boys down south, what do you think?
Yeah, I sort of thought Private Legacy, Little Mix. I thought Little Mix was good first up in Sydney, and she's got B. Shin, Annabelle and Robert flying, so definitely give her a hope. And the other horse in the race, she was in that replay, and she's a one-paced on pacer, and they rode her second last, Osmos. Like, I know she was pretty disappointing there, but I think she'll be set to peak on Saturday, and if they have any track pattern in favour of those leaders or anything like that, and they send her right forward, I wouldn't be leaving her out of your exotics at like 50-1 or something on Saturday.
I was similar to you, Scoot. I sort of leaned to as I said, I like platform. I'm a platform punter, so I love the private Legacies. It gets third up after hitting the line, second up, got the low draw, third up in trip, where Firestorm's had a bit, as you said, they've been a bit busier time of it. It was a good run in the Epsom. Like it set it a task. It came up the fast run 1,900. Then DePleece has got it out the back in the slow run Epsom. Still found the line. It was still a good run, but yeah, as I said, got to travel, got to come back up to 2,000. So I just like the platform. I like the platform of Private Legacy upwards into her prep, going to get the soft run for C. Williams. She's only got beaten. What a pimple in the Vibrant Sun just beat her on the Australasian Oaks. You know, she's getting around this trip, so she getting up to her right trip.
Yeah, definitely see it the same way there. Puntingform.com.au is how I do the form. It's the logical next step. If you're sick and tired of the racing.coms and the New South Wales of the world, get into a serious database and something easy to use, and that's puntingform.com.au, and they can even do a private tutorial if you're struggling in the early stages. So make sure you check them out because it's a great service and an easy platform to use. Don't have to download it. It all lives on the cloud. Walt away, as we said earlier. He's got COVID at the worst possible time. But let's have a quick look at the Spring Champion. We're across this form in Randwick, so we'll only do the one race. But El Costello is the favourite here, and this is the horse Waltz hit last time, $6.50. He backed it last start, and now it's been 4 into $3.70. It's tied to a fair bit of that broadsiding form, so easy to see why the market is now cottoned on. $3.70 favourite there. Swift Falcon $3.70, Henline $4.60, Harlem Queen $6, Pleasure Artist $13, Rag Queen $17, and then you can get sort of $18, $20 about Firm Agreement, Davana, and much, much better the rest. Let's have a look at a couple of replays, and the first one here is the Gloaming, which is historically a good lead-up.
So I'm pretty sure Walt was on it here because of the map, wasn't he? The other two, Swift Falcon and Henline, were going to be at the back where they were, and El Costello is going to be in the spot here. And it's similar.
At the back, they're on a different race, those two.
Yeah. Well, that's why Walt nailed this, but but they've drawn. It'd be interesting to see what the tactics are. This, but just of those, Swift Falcon's got home best there, hasn't it? So I mean, Henline had its back, but didn't and couldn't keep up with it.
And this is Swift Falcon the start before, and I think there's a bit of an eye-catching filly here, and this might be a bridge too far for the spring champion, but see Pleasure Artist on the back of Swift Falcon. She sort of has to come across heels here, but I really like her the last 200 metres of her work here. She really gets down to it, and I started to scout around for sort of like maybe Oaks sort of markets, but love her as a mover, and I think she's a sort of a knockout runner, and I had a look at the fillies' record in this race, and I was actually surprised to see that 3 out of 10, Montefilia has been one of them. 3 out of the last 10 winners have been fillies, so it might not be that crazy to try and find either Harlem Queen or Pleasure Artist to knock over some of these boys. I sort of did like maybe the bit of zip left in the legs, Pleasure Artist jumping up to the 2,000 metres, and I did hear Sam Freedman talk during the week, and the tactics there, they had him in reverse for the first 600 metres of the race. Poor old Henline. This is your horse that you don't mind the look of, Nico. So I wouldn't be surprised if Henline from Barrier 1, I can see him mapping heaps closer, and I thought he was entitled to run out of petrol tickets chasing Swift Falcon and El Costello last time, and of the top 3 in the market, I think he'll be really assisted by the rail. He sort of just wanted to run about a bit and needs a bit of a steering wheel, but back onto Barrier 1 with the rail to assist him around and settling in the first half of the field. I think he could be a different horse this time in the Spring Champion, and I thought, the race was just sort of put on for El Costello and Swift Falcon. You know what the Hawks boys do as soon as they draw a wide gate. They just lose their shit and they can't win the race. Nico?
Yeah, it's a race that's sort of hard to assess because do you really treat that Gloaming as form? Like El Costello's had the ultimate PR. Swift Falcon and Henline can't win the race. Off their runs prior, they're much better horses than what we've seen of El Costello, and he got the job done there. But you'd think at 2,000 and Randwick, like these horses are going to have 400 or 500 metres to run him down now, which I think is a huge positive for a horse like Henline, who's... That's what I was thinking,
the switch to Randwick.
Yeah, he crabbed around Moonee Valley, didn't get around the turn, and then last day he's way too far back at Rose Hill, like getting to Randwick. I thought they'd go the blinkers, and they have pretty much. To put the visors on him, so the visors just have a slit in them, so they have a bit more vision. So that might suggest to me that they're going to ride him a bit closer with that gear change, and given it's the visors, they can see behind them, the horses. So I think that maybe they're thinking that will keep him a bit more competitive, having a few horses in behind him. So, yeah, I really like that gear change, especially when you see it with older horses who go from blinkers to visors. That can improve them as well. So one to look out for in the 58s and 64s, but that's not this race. I think he's a really good horse, Henline, and he might be a horse that can replicate what he's sire did in this race, done deal. And, I'm going to back in that he's the best horse, forgive last start, and back in he's the best horse. So, I'm going to have a crack at him there on Saturday. The right price, if you had a run better in the Gloaming, it was a sectional side, he'd probably be favourite off the run price. So, I think he's set to peak, gear change, inside barrier. Should all work out for him, and if he's as talented as I think he'll win.
Yeah, I'm not dropping off either, Nick. I was with you the other day, and I don't think we drop off now.
Bit of a watch and see with Pleasure Artist. I think she's a filly going places as well. Waltz just messaged through off his deathbed. He likes El Costello again, so I think there might be bullish tactics employed there. And he also just chimed in with these Cox Plate theory and thoughts, and he's saying Prognosis or Via Sistina. So he's thinking the closers will get the upper hand in the Cox Plate. And his other bet on the card looks like it's race number 9, and that's Territory Express. He thinks that Molly, Schumacher and Tyler will fly up front, and then with any luck, with the outside draw, Territory Express should be rocketing home. So more of his stuff on racingwatch.com.au, and tell you what, if Henline doesn't beat El Costello, we'll cop an earful next week for butchering the segment yet again, as we usually do. But he says he's cactus and he can't stop shaking, so hopefully Walt bounces back through that. And he has a good weekend on Saturday. So Henline for us 3, and then going head-to-head with El Costello. But wow, Shapes is an absolutely cracking race, a spring champion, and it's another one of those 110% markets on Friday. So make sure you tune into that one. It's going to be an absolute beauty. Nico, Friday, Launceston last week was good, Bunker Bob. And we've got a couple, and again, bookies asleep at the wheel. They're pretty lazy on Fridays. You think you just put up as much product as you can and let everyone just jam straight into it, especially this time of year. All eyes on. But race 3 you like here. It's the Nutrient Solutions Maiden Class 1 Handicap. And you've got Sun Halo here. This is 2 starts back at Devonport in the...
no interest, like self-interest.
That's
and you got the red and the yellow, and you got Erica Byrne, Trinder. Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, he's been a bit unlucky, this horse in Tasmania. He's had a few runs, especially last start, where it didn't all go to plan, and he ran second. On this occasion, he won quite comfortably. He beat Spring Bean, who come out and beat us the next run, but weren't really ridden to advantage there. Erica got the best out of him on this occasion, taking him up the front. He's drawn barrier 1. He's a horse that doesn't really like wet ground, so it's going to be nice and firm there on Friday night for him. He's drawn 1. There's a little bit of speed, so I think she'll probably ride him similar. Hunt him up early, let the speed go, and then probably look to come off the fence. He doesn't like being trapped on the inside of horses, so she rode him perfect on that occasion. If she replicates that, he's definitely the horse to beat. Off that rating he produced that win 2 starts ago, that's the best rating of all the horses recently in the race. So he's got to translate that to Launceston, but he's done plenty of grass track racing before. And that second horse did come out and win since, and then run well again. So it's not the deepest race. There's a few other horses here like the Prayer and a few others that have shown a little bit of ability, but I just think with the map advantage we could have and the way Erica rode him on that occasion, if she does similar, he should be hard to beat, and that's why we sent him down there. You get 2 cracks at it. It's a maiden / class 1, these races, so pretty much you're racing against the same horses all the time, and he's been very competitive with a lot of these horses, and I think just with the right run. We missed 2 weeks ago over 1,880 metres because we just thought that the track might not be to his advantage. It was a wet track, so he's been completely set for the race. He seems like he's set to peak. The update was good, so I would imagine he'll be near favourite. And it's really another D-Day for him there on Friday night. Should get everything in his favour. He doesn't have the biggest heart, this horse, and that's why he got sent down there, because he just probably wasn't quite up to it here. But Adam Trinder's a great trainer. If you have any sort of horses that are similar here in Victoria that you're in the ownership of and thinking they're not quite measuring up, he's a great trainer to send him down to. His updates are fantastic, and he seems like he's got the best out of this horse. So Sun Halo for plenty of the boys that are in it as well. Hopefully we can get another result, and I think he is worth backing on Friday night. Should get everything in his favour.
Nico, there's a couple of price-sensitive names in the ownership: T. Noonan, N. Noonan, B. Ascari, and J. Oldham. Yeah, I'd say that's a pack of hot workers. What price are they going to take?
I think it'll be above $3. I'd be surprised if he's any shorter than that. So I think $3 plus would be good. And if he's in that sort of $4 plus range, he's probably worth having a good crack at. And $3, you do have to factor in he doesn't have the biggest heart, but I think he should get everything in his favour.
Going to be a raw. Launceston Race 6, the Interstate Hotel Flinders Island Cup, and the horse you like here is Charlie Bucket. It's in the white with the black star and pink sleeves. You got Chloe Wells for Glenn Stevenson.
He's a good horse, this horse. He ran a career peak rating last start, and he's unbeaten on good tracks. His worst runs have been on soft tracks, and he's found a few of them down there in Tasmania, but his good track record's outstanding. He was quite good here. This is a slow run race, and I think he's better suited in a race of more tempo, getting up to 1,600 metres. His ratings are very strong. He just gets there on the line.
And the light riding.
Yep, so Chloe Wells rode him there. She rides him again on Friday night. She was going at 4% last season, her strike rate, and this season she's going at 22%. So she's really improved her riding, and she's riding in good form, riding plenty of winners recently. So she knows this horse. He gets in well at the weights, and it's a race where there's a little bit of depth. If it was a similar field to that, he'd probably go around $1.60. But you got Sharma's last in the race, top weight. He's coming off 2 wins at Devonport, which is his home track there, trained by Trinder. Just think with this horse, he is a little bit better at Devonport. His Launceston record isn't as good. I don't know if he handles the bend there or if it's the grass track or something like that. He tends to always lay in under pressure there. So I'm thinking there's an angle to get him beat at Launceston. Then the other horse to beat's probably General Assembly, who they've been taking a sit on recently. If they lead on him, he can probably run back to his best. Taylor Childs goes back aboard. She'd let him won on him one day at Sandown at a massive price. So he's got the ability. But I think Charlie Bucket has always shown the ability to get to a good level down there, and he's just starting to put it all together, and the dry track seem to be the key to him. So he'll probably be one of my biggest bets of the weekend. I think if she rides him similar to last start, just puts him there, he'll just take her where he needs to, and should be getting the job done. Danger's General Assembly. So Charlie Bucket, keen there. It's a good meeting. Full tips are on the racing.com tipping hub if you want to see all the tips for the other races, the speed maps, and the comments and the overviews there. So make sure you check that out on the tipping hub on racing.com. But keen on Charlie Bucket. Think he could be the best bet of the weekend.
And it's a bit of a query on Sharma's last running 1,600 metres as well. Is that why you're a bit confident as well?
He's got a massive turn of foot, and he gets back in Devonport and sort of just runs home the quickest closing splits of the meeting all the time. So I think he does run 1,600, but I think Charlie Bucket's a horse in time that probably run 2,000. So if it's a genuine tempo and they roll along on General Assembly, Charlie Bucket probably just stalks, and hopefully that brings undone Sharma's last. So a few things in our favour, and I think a few things that mean hopefully we get a little bit of a price. Maybe 250 plus would be a terrific price.
Gotta love it, don't you, DK? You got Cox Plate Day, you got Moonee Valley Gold Cup night, you got Spring Champion, and Nico's biggest bet is going to be race 6 Launceston on Friday night. He's just a man of your own heart.
I bet, as we always say, $3 in the Cox Plates, the same as $3 you get paid the same at Sanana on Saturday. Yarra Glen, mate, they're on everywhere.
Beautiful stuff. TASRacing.com.au. They got hosted coverage, so you can go watch Snapper in the mounting yard, the pre and post race interview, so you can get to know the characters, the trainers, the horses, the jockeys, and Nico Noonan knows it inside out. So head to TASRacing.com.au as well if you want to watch it online, so you can just have the sneaky little laptop on the side, and if you turn the volume down, the missus won't even know what you're doing. Donnie's best last week, scratched Ellie Baby. One to follow, though, from the David Van Dyke yard. His best is at Doomben this week. Let's hear from him.
G'day, boys. Best bet this weekend is race 4, number 12, Navy on the Highway at Doomben. It's at wide and was way too strong last start over 1,100. Steps to 1,350, but should get control from the front. I think it's extremely hard to beat. It's the best bet of the day, so hopefully Tally up Fenland can put in a good one for us. Cheers, boys. Good luck.
Following up here, Navy on the Highway. So, this filly looks like she's just going to roll through the grade. So, Doomben race 4, number 12. Not surprised there with Donnie's best. And looking at the TopSport Steam here, awful last week, but a couple of big bets. It could be the kiss of death, so you boys better close your eyes shortly. Race 9, number 2,000 at 370. Prognosis is the first bet. The second bet, there's 2 of them. Race 9, number 7, Via Sistina, $500 at $5. And then race 9, number 7, Via Sistina, $2,500 at $440. We skip across to it's Randwick race 4, number 2. And this is King of Rousseau. I haven't got this far yet, but I think his last couple of runs have been okay. But not a race that I've dug into. Any opinion, Nico?
No, not a race I've sort of had a lot of time for, but I think he was playing last start at Rosehill over 1,400, but the run prior he ran 3rd at Flemington, so can mix his form a little bit.
Yeah, need a little bit more time for that. And market sort of tells a story, 270, 350, 420, about 3 in the market, and then King of Rousseau's been 850 in the 650 at TopSport. And the other one is Morphettville, race number 9, and the horse is the Guava, 100 at $20 there. Definitely this time of year haven't got that far, but Surprise Cummings the favourite in that one, the Mamsman, Delightful Shecky, and Karatara. So the Guava's been 20 into 15 at TopSport as well, so a couple of outside the square bets there. Big show, cracking show. Feels like we've covered a million races. Hopefully there's a couple of winners and a bit of meat on the bone. And we are still got a long way to go with this spring carnival, especially with the run into Christmas with the gong and the all those big races that they do, the Warra and all that sort of stuff. So there's going to be massive punting, and then we're on the doorstep of the Brisbane Summer Carnival, which is bigger and better than ever. So it's going to be a big run into Christmas and lots of betting. So make sure you pick the eyes out of it and do it responsibly and wisely. But big thanks for you boys down there, and enjoy the festivities of Cox Plate Week, and hopefully you have a fill up.
Yeah, cheers, Scoot. Good. You get on and get back into more form, Nico, and
Yep.
hope Walt's feeling better. Okay. Gee whiz, poor bugger.
When you're hot, you're hot. When you're not, you're hot. Hopefully we're white hot on Saturday. We'll see you next week.